Flights are pricey, planning feels chaotic, and that family trip keeps getting pushed. I hear it every day from business owners and busy professionals, and I felt it too. I'm Ross, the founder of Itinerary Boss, and your host. After 10 plus years of planning work and personal trips to over 20 countries, I became the guy who found the deals and turned points into upgrades. This show helps you turn everyday business and personal spend into points and miles for premium travel. Each week, you'll get step by step tactics and short episodes, plus expert guests with specific use cases tied to your most asked questions for travel plans that'll help support your business, goals, and your life. Go ahead and grab the free Points and Miles cheat sheet in the show notes to speed up your learning. And now, on with the show. Welcome back to another episode of World Travel Made Easy. I'm your host, Ross Alcorn. On today's episode, I'm really excited to have Kerry Krull. She is the founder of the wedding app, and we actually got the chance to use the wedding app when we got married this past March. It's amazing. Wanted to bring her on because I get a ton of questions from people around destination weddings, how to do them, how do you do all the logistics, all of that. So wanted to bring on Kerry, who knows way more than I do around that, to share her knowledge. Hey, Kerry, how are you doing today?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course, of course. Yeah, really excited to have you. And, I think we're going to have a great conversation just because I get a lot of questions around travel, weddings, destination weddings, credit card points, and you have an awesome app that you created to help with a lot of those things. So, yeah, would love to just get a little bit of background on yourself as well as, why did you create the wedding app and what's it all about?
Yeah, so my background is in events. I've worked in events for 12 years. I've worked for three Fortune 500 companies within high tech software spaces. I've also worked in sports, entertainment, and during the pandemic, I decided to launch my own wedding planning business. And when I transitioned from corporate events into weddings, I noticed there was a significant difference that in corporate events, we're really focused on the guest experience. But as wedding planners, we were focused more on managing the vendors and the couples, but there wasn't a primary focus on the guests. And when I'm going to these large corporate conferences, we're using technology to be able to see who other exhibitors are, see who the other attendees are, be able to communicate with them and schedule meetings in advance. And I kept thinking, this is an amazing tool that we need for the wedding industry. And then a year later, I was planning my own wedding and I was looking into some of those conference apps. And while they were customizable, they really were not tailored towards weddings itself, the registries and your wedding party. And I went to 13 weddings in 1 year. First of all, I couldn't keep track of like what hotels I booked, which ones I actually RSVP'd to. I was confused of who's going to all these weddings. And as an event planner, you think I would be on top of myself. And I feel like I was a problem. Like I forgot to RSVP to a wedding I was already a bridesmaid of. So that's when I was like, all right, not only do I want this for my own wedding, I need this for my friends' weddings, for every wedding moving forward. We need a one source of truth to have all of our information in one place. And that's how it got going.
I love it. And it's always cool to hear, people's stories of like, how did you just even think to start this? And it's that background that, you've been in corporate events, you've worked at big companies, you've kind of seen the gaps, and then you found, right, you're in events, that's your sweet spot and specialty. And you realize when you had those 13 weddings, which is a lot, by the way. I think we had 8 or 9 1 year, and I was overwhelmed. So I can't even imagine 13. But again, you realized there was a need, and yeah, you created something awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. And your wedding also was in Florida, and we're, for people who are listening, both Carrie and I live in Charlotte, so that is a destination wedding. So you got to do, right? You got to use it there, and see it. And we did ours locally, but still, just some of the ease of use for people traveling in, because that is a destination wedding for some people who are traveling across the country to come. It helps keep everything in something. It helps with, right, doing a lot of the updates, things like that. But I want to dive in, because destination weddings is a big topic I get asked about. I haven't done it, right, and I'm not a travel agent, right? I help people more on the credit card points side of thing and how to lower those costs. But I'm curious, from just your experience and even doing the destination wedding yourself, Like, what do you feel like is some of the biggest challenges people face when they're starting to do destination weddings? And then are there things that are like gotchas where people are like, oh, I completely underestimated this?
Oh, yeah. I think couples often underestimate how much coordination goes into a destination wedding. It's not just planning the wedding itself, it's managing travel, it's planning the itineraries, and having expectations for a large group of people. And many people are taking off of work, they have PTO, they're traveling with people they don't know very well. So you're trying to be accommodating to them, but it's also your day too. So you want it to be easy on yourself, but you still have to give your guests the information. And I think that is what has been lacking. But I mean, guests are booking flights from different cities. They're arriving on different days. They're staying at different hotels. And it will start adding up when they're starting to hit up the couple of asking what hotels everyone's staying at. It can become very stressful to the couples.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's where that FAQ doc or having one source of truth or sending those out is helpful. And yeah, I mean I think what why I worked with you and why I used the wedding app was because I'm very organized, right? I plan. I'm kind of that. Not many guys do that, and I do it really well. But
Very
when
impressed
I
by you.
thought, but when I started to think through, oh, the weddings that I've been to, like, where's the transfer? Where's the transportation? Where's this? Where's that? Like, I don't look at the website. Like you can do a huge website, but at the end of the day, it's like everyone's always asking those same few questions, especially guys. So it's like having
Mhm.
something right there makes it so simple. And even girls too, like you said, like 13 weddings, trying to keep up with it. And if you're traveling in, it's just, and then you're trying to figure out, oh, what's the website link? Like all those. So I think, especially with a destination wedding, too, with all the other balls that are juggling. Yeah, it's huge. I guess what my next question is like when couples are planning a destination wedding, like are there things they should really dive into to think about? Like from your experience, right? And you can share some of the challenges maybe you guys had ran into, but travel, timing, like coordination, it isn't just maybe, hey, weddings on Saturday, come in, Saturday or Friday. Like what are some of those things that you'd caution people or tell people to think about?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is like now if you're doing a destination wedding, you're thinking beyond a single wedding day. You're planning entire wedding weekend. The biggest thing again is early communication. There's been times where I recently went to DC for a wedding, but I was unaware if there was a welcome party, if anyone's doing anything the night before. So I ended up just flying in the morning of the wedding, not knowing if anything else was going on the night before. And then I think they just sent out a few text message like, "Oh yeah, we are having a welcome party after all." But had I known that in advance, I would have gone the day before. I would have seen the family and hung out with everybody. So I think it is good having that clarity as soon as you know it and sharing that with your guests. Because again, like they're already going to be traveling. If I'm booking a flight or I'm driving somewhere, I'm already going to put that time in, and I'd rather make the most of that time. But for my wedding, personally, everyone's flights got canceled, which turned out to be my worst nightmare, but a great case study for the
Yeah.
app because everybody that was at the Charlotte airport, they were communicating with each other through the app saying who else is here, who else's flights were canceled. They were able to meet up at the airport, find alternative plans. They had to fly into different cities. They eventually got there, but not so much later. But when I was informed, I end up pushing everything back a few hours and I notified my vendors. And once I got the confirmation on that, I was able to send a push alert to all my wedding guests, letting them know the new time due to the flight cancellations and delays. So instead of me having to text every single person that we had to go to plan B, I was able to feel confident to know everyone had accurate information in real time.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it just shows, right? Having something that you can coordinate because I think the bride's biggest concerns usually are, is it going to rain? If it's an outdoor wedding, right? And then that, I feel like that's also worst. It's like the worst thing that could happen. So having that single source of truth, like you said, being able to communicate, that's huge. Are there like from staying organized too, anything that you found that people who have used it, from your own standpoint, like what were some of the things that it really helped you out with?
Yeah, so let me just tell you about what the wedding app is for those that don't know. So the wedding app is a alternative to a traditional wedding website. It includes everything a wedding website would have, but offering a mobile first, socially connected experience where the couples, the planners, and the guests can all come together in one place. So think of it like a social hub exclusively for the wedding guest itself. So it has everything from about the couple, your schedules, your hotel information. And I've divided the hotel information into two parts, your preferred hotels and nearby hotels, because there's so many times I've gone to wedding websites and there's a list of 6 to 10 hotels. And I'm like, all right, well, what hotels everyone else staying at? Which one do they actually want us to stay at? Now, not only do I have that clarity, I can communicate with all the wedding attendees. So each guest has a profile visible towards the other guests. And now you can put faces to names, see who's coming, and you can chat either directly with them one on one. You can do group messages, say you need to get a hold of the guys, and maybe the guys are going golfing while the girls are getting ready. You guys can have your own chats, or there's a community feed similar to like a Facebook feed, but just for the wedding group. And that's everyone communicating with each other. And that is where you can say, hey, we just landed. We're at the hotel bar. What's everyone doing? Or what hotel is everyone staying at? Now the guests are able to answer the question towards the other guests without having to bother the couple. But in addition of the information that a wedding website has, you also have shared photo albums. You can share pictures before, during, after. There's so many times I see QR codes at weddings, but let's be honest, we're probably been drinking a little bit. We're not going to remember to scan the QR code at that time, or we want to upload pictures after the wedding's over. And now guests can share flight information. And that was probably my favorite part of the app, where it looks like an airline ticket in the app and it shows every person's name and what flight they're on. They would have to manually update that. So if they wish to share, they can. But that's really helpful for those destination weddings where now you can see maybe some people from your hometown are flying in the same day. Maybe now you're going to coordinate the same flight so you guys are arriving together. Or you see people are staying a little bit later the next day. Maybe there is a brunch the next day. So now you can see, oh, people are actually staying for this. I'm going to make sure I stay for this as well. So it's a lot more interactive than a traditional website.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you diving in and giving a high level overview because I think that that's helpful. I want to dive in some of the challenges and pain points first, just because it's like people think of destination weddings, they're like, this seems like a great idea. And then when you start to peel back the onion, planning a wedding itself in your own hometown is hard enough. A destination wedding, if you aren't good at planning, is just another layer. So no, and what the wedding app does really helps with that. And I love that specific example you use of if you're going to a 200 person wedding and maybe you're flying in from Charlotte or maybe you have people who are coming in from different places, knowing when they're coming in because you may forget to text someone. And if you see, oh, these people are invited, you're always trying to figure out, hey, who are these people maybe invited? Are they not? And two, like if you're just say I had a friend who they got married in Italy last year, and if you're going somewhere like that, or we may be going to Spain next year for one, like getting in and then having to potentially stay after, right? You may have a circle of, 3 or 4 other friends who you're like, hey, we're definitely staying, but there may be people who also are like, hey, we're also going to plan a vacation. They might be in the same place. So being able to communicate there, that's kind of a specific use case and thing that I see that you may not know. Maybe you know them from your hometown, but you aren't close enough with them to have their cell phone. But if you're over there, it's like, hey, let's, get together and do stuff while we're there. Hey, I wanted to take a quick break to say thank you so much for tuning into the show. The only way the show grows is through listeners like you helping us share it. So if you're enjoying the show, it'd mean the world to me if you hit that 5-star rating, shared it with a friend or family member who's ready to travel more, save money, or just needs a little bit more inspiration and that nudge. And if you're posting about it on Instagram, go ahead and tag Itinerary Boss, and we'll make sure to reshare it and shout you out for giving us a shout out. Thanks so much for the support. It truly means a lot. And now back with the show. All right, so I think one big thing that comes into play too when you're budgeting for a destination wedding is flights, hotels, travel, and obviously, if you're new here, we talk a lot about using credit cards for and using points and miles. So some strategies you should be thinking about are flights, right? first, where are you flying to? I think that's big. Planning in advance is always going to be key. So depending on where you're flying from, looking to see, do they have direct flights? When you first get that invitation is going to be very key. So there's ways to offset the flight cost with points. So depending on which types of cards you have, I know Charlotte, for example, is an American hub, but if you're flying somewhere else and there aren't American flights, you can use your Chase, Amex, Capital One points to transfer those to different partners. If you're thinking about flying over to, so we'll just say Spain or Italy, since we use those use cases, if you're flying overnight, trying to find business classes, like that's what we do personally every time we go overseas. So using points for that, those are a couple strategies. Hotels, there's all inclusive sometimes that they'll do weddings at. So you also, if you're looking to see, there's all inclusive resorts that you also can use points for. So seeing, is it a Hyatt? Is it a Hilton? Is it a Marriott? If you travel a lot for work and you have status, that could be a good way to strategize there. But also, if you have some Chase points or Built points, if you're staying at a Hyatt, you can transfer those over. So that's another specific strategy. There is some other types of strategies too that I know Carrie and I were talking about big wedding vendors, and those costs can be big. Some specific strategies we used are thinking about where are you staying? Are you staying at a Kimpton, which is an IHG property? Are you staying at a Marriott? Are you staying at a Hilton, right? A Hyatt. And that's where you can go to the vendors and you can ask them, hey, for each guest, this is something we did for ours. We did a wedding block at the Marriott and at the Kimpton. And a lot of times they'll negotiate that on the back end. So ask for everything, and then you can earn a lot. We got, I think, 50,000 Marriott points just from our guest. We didn't spend a single dime there, just for booking. If you're doing it at like an IHG property, like the Kempton Uptown, strategy that we used was we opened the IHG card. It got us 5 free nights. We obviously were going to spend 5 grand. So those 5 free nights then got us a $3,200 vacation in Grand Cayman by using 4 free nights at an IHG Hotel Indigo. The reason we opened that was there was a welcome bonus. And since Kimpton is part of IHG, we did our hotel block there. We got 2 nights at a suite. We did our rehearsal dinner. We were getting 26 times the points on every single dollar that we spent there. Now we have enough just from the wedding hotel opening that card to now go back to Grand Cayman with that. So that's 2 free vacations just from opening a card with a welcome bonus. So that's probably over 10 grand in savings. So I think when you're starting to think through mapping these things, think about where are you staying, you know, is there a way to negotiate with the hotels? That's huge. And just ask. If you don't have a loyalty program open, whether it's IHG, Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott, go and open those. Those are free. And there's always welcome offers from different hotels. That's the type of strategies, right? Where you can earn free vacations by doing those type of things simply by having a plan. So I wanted to share that because that's a way to offset budget. That's a way to offset cost but also earn. So if you do have big wedding expenses coming up, we use credit cards for everything. That funded all of our vacation for our honeymoon as well as for 2026 and it covers those type of costs. And if the vendors say, "Hey, we're going to take a 3% fee," sometimes I mean, I personally think it's worth it. So paying that vendor with that card is going to get you points. And it might be, hey, we open a new card to get a welcome bonus. So those are some strategies when you are starting to plan your wedding that you want to think about because that can again offset cost, pay for future vacations, and those are definitely strategies that I always recommend for weddings.
Those are very helpful tips. I'm gonna be keeping that in my back pocket too, especially all the wedding conferences I go to. I'm gonna have to get that in writing so I can share that out to the whole wedding industry.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, and we'll share this podcast so they can listen and share this. But I think with destination weddings too, there's a lot of negotiating that you can do because you're coming there. And if you ask for more points on the back end, if you say, hey, people are flying in, like they're willing to negotiate and give you some of those perks. So even asking, sending an email to say, hey, we'd love a suite upgrade, or hey, we want the presidential. You can do that on normal vacations and get upgrades. It's a simple email if you have status in the right card. So just some things to think about when you are starting to map out some of those destination weddings. Are there any advice you'd give for couples that they might think it might be too much just from, cost, from travel logistics, from other things?
Honestly, I personally love destination weddings. I feel like it's more intimate. You're getting to know the guests in a different level than you would if you're just kind of popping in and popping out at another wedding. Uh, Again, people were kind of making a weekend experience out of it. I went to a wedding in Mexico and they had a catamaran ride for everyone their first day. And that was a great icebreaker to really get to know anyone. So the wedding wasn't until 3 days later. By wedding day, it was the best wedding experience I've ever had. So I don't think people need, like, I tell guests, like, don't expect perfection. Guests just want clarity. They want to know what's happening, where to be, how to plan for this destination. And that's what's going to really make it exciting for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. And we did one in Key West this past year, and it was a vacation. I mean, they had the catamaran, they had a welcome dinner with party, the wedding. So it was a full, 3 day fun, an all white party. So you have events to look forward to, and you make it, and it sounds like it was similar to the one you did in Mexico. And I think that's the best part is, and then people also can say, you know what, like if we're flying there and we're going to go, let's maybe also extend our trip too. Let's go for an extra couple days. And I feel like that's where the wedding app plays in too. Like we were talking about, you can then communicate with people and say, hey, we're flying down Thursday. We're staying till the following Saturday, right? Is anyone else extending their vacation? And and if you don't know people going to, that's a really good way. Because a lot of times you're going to a wedding, like I know like three people from college, then everyone else I don't know. And sometimes those are the most fun, and then you get to know, right? You get to start to meet people.
It is. I feel like even like a friend's birthday party, we went to Cabo one time, and I ended up going on three more vacations with these girls because we had such a great time. We met on a vacation, and you have similarities. So when you are going to someone's wedding, you got to remember it's that person, whether it's your family member, your friend, like it's their closest friends and family that they're bringing all together. So you guys already have something in common as it is, and you got to love the people. So have fun doing it.
Yeah, 100%. If there's someone who's planning a wedding, like a destination wedding right now, what would you say the first thing they should do just to make their lives easier would be?
I definitely feel like having that communication is going to make their lives easier. So I know many people are kind of, they first, you book your venue, you know where you're going to go, you know how many people are going to be there. Step one. From that, I know people's first instinct is wedding website. All right, we got to start building the website. Consider the app. Consider how all the beneficial features that this app will give to your guests. So there's times where if you are at a destination wedding or there's multiple venues and you're having shuttle buses, the app, like your wedding planners could help you with the app. They can send push alerts to remind people, hey, the shuttle bus is about to leave. So I would definitely think about having one source of clear communication for your guests.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I can say from using it, having those text alerts, having the community being able to post that, set up automated alerts, people really like that. Again, it's it's not having to go to the website. It's everyone's already on their phone. And I think one thing too, and I'll share because people are like, oh, well, do I have to download another app? Like, go through your guest list, and if you let's just say you have 150 people, there might be 10 people who are going to be a pain in the ass. Just go ahead and create a profile for them or be on your parents to be like, here's the people I need, like set expectations. And like for my 85-year-old grandma, we just went and created her profile. And that's totally fine. It took 1 minute, but I think that's where, right, you just have to think through those things and just, understand and know some of the people that might be that person who's going to complain. But at the end of the day, it's your wedding. So that's my 2 cents and kind of the experience we got when we went through that process.
I always tell people like normally the person who doesn't want to do the app is also the person who's not reading the website. So they're going to be asking someone for guidance no matter what, whether it's a physical invitation, website, app base. they are going to be leaning on someone else. But the good thing is, again, if you do set up their profile, they're getting the alerts, they're getting updates in real time too. So if anything, they're still more in the know than they would have been before.
And the funniest part is the people that didn't want to create the app from ours. I'll share this. We were cracking up. We were looking at our wedding photos. They were the ones who were on their phones during the ceremony when we said phoneless ceremony, and when we were going through, we just got our wedding books that were given to our parents, and like we have photos in real time of those are the same people that are just like pointing that are on their phones the whole time. We were dying laughing about it.
I love that.
Yeah. So.
It looks good. I know like, I'm a visual person, but like it's not like you're not getting blown up by text messages. It's not like that. It really is like a sleek hub for everything. Gotta take a
Yeah.
look at
Yeah, 100%. Well, Kerry, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on. If you're listening, you're like, "Hey, I need help trying to plan a destination wedding or just a wedding in general," right? It's not just for destination weddings. It's for, again, we're in Charlotte. We did our wedding 5 minutes down the road. It was phenomenal. I highly suggest you check it out. And Carrie has some amazing resources, reels, FAQs, everything on Instagram, just to make it super simple. And I got to experience going through the process working with her, and she was phenomenal. So I want to share that with everyone. But Carrie, where can people find you, and what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so the website now has tutorial videos of how to use the app. So definitely check out that. It's the wedding app or the wedding-app.com. And I'm very active on social media. So reach out to me on Instagram anytime. It's the wedding app USA.
Very cool. And I know you speak at some conferences and you've done a couple in the past. Are there any that you got coming up in 2026 in case people want to connect with you there?
Yeah, so I will be speaking at the Coming Retreat in end of January in Atlanta, and then still working on my books for the rest of the year. But that's the first one coming up.
Nice. Congrats. Well, yeah, same here. We'll be doing the same little road show in 2026. So I appreciate you coming on. This was great. If you're listening for the first time, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any episodes we put out every Wednesday, weekly. And if you think Carrie deserves a 5-star review, I do. Make sure you hit that 5-star. That helps us grow the show, continue to bring on great guests like Carrie. And if someone's trying to plan a wedding, if you know they are, or trying to do a destination wedding, make sure you share this with them. We will see everyone next week. Thanks.